Hello summoners, welcome back to the channel and another tier list update for the month of March. This is going to be the 24th version of this tier list, so 2 years of doing this particular format. So that is kind of crazy. I do like this format because I do other rankings as well, but those are like a top 25 list and it's very quick, so we don't really get to talk about why the characters are where they are. And here we can have a proper discussion, and if you agree with my thoughts, if I'm missing something, you can let me know that down below and we can have a discussion in the comment section, all of that stuff. Now let me just start by scrolling down so you can have a look at the entire list. Some people comment that this character is missing and they're there. It's just like 200 plus characters, they're hard to find sometimes. But if you want to take a proper look at the list, I will be leaving a link to it in the description down below. If you are wondering what these symbols mean, it's written right here. You can have a look. And for example, Kingpin, he has two symbols, synergy symbol and also a battleground symbol, meaning that he does benefit a lot from certain synergies and he is good in battlegrounds. Now if you're wondering what those synergies are, you can go to this tab and check out for yourself. Now I don't have all the synergies mentioned here, so if I'm missing something, do let me know in the comment section. I can update it here. And of course, pretty much every single character in the game benefits from some synergies, some more than others. If you want to have a proper look, just go to Aunt May and look at that character and you can see all the synergies for yourself. Now let's get started with the list, otherwise we'll be here all day. And we have two new characters coming in, Viv Vision and as well as Kate Bishop, and one buff with Hulk. We also had the Iceman buff, but that is still under the beta, so we won't be updating the list until it goes live. So yeah, Viv Vision, she has incredible potential. It's undeniable. She is potentially a very strong character, and maybe in the future she will be here, and maybe in some very particular content, health pool stuff, she might even find herself here. Overall list, I doubt she'll ever be here, but this column, there is a decent chance, to be honest, because she is a good character. She can do a lot, and even when it comes to damage output for again a certain health pool, it's very good. So playing her is slightly tricky. It is tricky, but not in the sense like Tigra, where you have to learn spacing and stuff. It is something, if you are going to play this character, you will certainly pick it up in a few days, maybe weeks, but definitely not years or months of practice required. That is what I think, at least. Now with Vision, the main problem that I have with her is that after a certain while you have to do the rotation all over again, which is fine with some characters. Even Doctor Doom, a lot of people, when I make videos like best damage output characters and Doom is not at the top, and like top 25, he's sometimes not in the list itself, and people get upset because Doctor Doom is obviously one of the strongest characters in the game, and they get upset that he's not there. And a big reason for that is the same reason, that after your rotation is done, your damage is there. It's good damage, but then you have to build it up again after the 2 Fury rotation. SP2, sure, the Fury expires, you have to go for another 2 SP2s if the fight is that long. That is the main thing, because Doctor Doom 2 Fury SP2 usually finishes off most fights. We're not talking about Labyrinth content because that is very niche. You don't have that much. You have Realm of Legends, Labyrinth of Legends, Abyss. Realm of Legends, Labyrinth and Abyss, all three in my opinion are outdated. If you look at rewards, then they should not be your priority at all. And yeah, that is why it's fine. That is why Doctor Doom is where he is, because if you take him to Act 8, you won't find yourself doing multiple SP2 rotations because his damage is good enough. But with Viv Vision, let's take an example. Realm of Legends Winter Soldier used to be a big health pool, but at this point, if you're talking about rank 4 6-star characters, Realm of Legends Winter Soldier is not a big health pool. People take that fight, like there are a lot of champions that can take that fight under a minute. I would say anything over a minute is below average damage output wise, or like average damage output wise. If you're talking rank 4 with suicide 6 to 100, the other day somebody did it in 29 seconds who I was not expecting to do it that quickly. I don't even remember. That's why, like, it wasn't the best character or anything. But yeah, a lot of champions can do it in like 30, 40, 50 seconds. With Vision, she is relatively fine till Winter Soldier goes down to like 50, 45-ish%. And then like you go for the SP2, you get your charges, you go for the SP1s, you can get 3, 15 charges, do a lot of damage, but then you have to build it all up again. It's not a good time, and she is a character who won't do well in endgame questing and stuff like this. But at the same time, stuff like Battlegrounds, Alliance War, I think she's gonna be just fine. So that is why she is here. She's kind of like a tech Corvus. But at the same time, you might say Corvus is still up here. Corvus has a few things going for him that she doesn't. One, she is not suicide friendly, but benefits a lot from suicide mastery, which is not a great thing because like Corvus, he benefits a lot from suicide mastery, is suicide friendly, so that's good. And on top of that, like power boost and all, if you put everything in there, Corvus is pretty crazy still. There are a lot of scenarios where you can still use Corvus. Maybe not in Act 8. You can say the same thing for story content, but at the same time, at least if you have a lower level Corvus, Act 4, Act 5, he can just crush through everything. It's still the same content. So yeah, Corvus, at least in early questing, he's just so damn powerful, especially with suicide, especially with boost, that he deserves to be in the second best column. And for a mediumish level player, he is the top column as well. With Vision, I don't think is gonna be a great beginner friendly character either, or like mid game content crusher either. So we will see. Maybe she'll be just that good in Battlegrounds that she ends up being here. She does have a lot going for her otherwise, besides the damage. Then talking about Kate Bishop, she is pretty good. She doesn't have any massive cons like with Vision, so that is good, I guess. She is a character that has like constant like very long cold snaps and stuff, lot of debuffs, lot of damage over time, a new mechanic like caltrops on the opponent. That is kind of cool, so you won't be doing massive like basic hit damage. And she is a kind of a SP1 spam character, and she has that perfect release mechanic as well, which I find really interesting. Again, I will say the same thing with this as well, that it's not something you will be able to do initially, like right as you pick her up, but it's again nothing too complicated. If you use her frequently enough, you will get the timing on the perfect release fairly easily. So that is how I feel about Kate Bishop. Does she have potential to be here? Maybe. Does she have potential to be here? Definitely not. But then never say never, because who knows? Weird things have happened. Weirder things have happened. Tigra initially people thought was not that great. So yeah, that is how I feel about her right now. Again, I will say this, initial impressions are just that. They are just initial impressions, and when more people start having these characters, maybe there's a better rotation, some scenario we haven't thought about, and some content where she just shines and is just really really good, irreplaceable, that kind of stuff, and then maybe she can eventually go up. But anyways, rest of the changes I won't take as much time, because oh yeah, Hulk is just amazing. He is pretty damn crazy now. There are 2 rotations, SP3 rotation for longer fights, and just generally speaking, the stun chain potential, there is a lot going with Hulk that is just super strong. The best thing personally is the simplicity, in my opinion. I appreciate that. I miss the days sometimes where you didn't have to see rotation videos or read crazy. At this point, how many people really read every ability a certain character has? Because they just have so many things they can do. I feel like there are certain characters that I use every day and I know everything about them, and then I see a certain matchup and I'm like, this character has this ability as well, or something like that. It's pretty common. First of all, like, we have so many characters, plus the complexity of certain characters are just is just very very high, and ability list is just so damn huge that it's impossible to read everything. It's even more tough to remember everything and all the things that the character has going for it, and that is why I like Hulk. Nothing crazy you to understand, just Hulk smash, and that's it. Now, speaking of Hulks, let's talk about She-Hulk. She was downgraded from this tier to this tier. Why? Is she a bad character now? No, she is still good. She's still equally good. Nothing happened to her abilities, and she can definitely be used a lot. So she had basically a few things going for her. The access to easy slow, just spamming heavy. But that's the thing. Slow was a debuff that was very uncommon. Spider-Gwen and her, I think, were the first or one of the first characters that had that mechanic, but now they're just other champions that have it as well, and they have other things as well. So for example, in a matchup where I need slow, would I use Shang-Chi or would I use She-Hulk? With She-Hulk you need to use a heavy attack. With Shang-Chi you can use a medium. Both are equally simple, I would say. Yeah, I'd say that both are equally easy slows to get. But after that, who's the better character? He can go like unblockable, he can stun, he can cleanse, he has much better damage in most fights. In labyrinth content, like Everest content, yeah, She-Hulk can out damage Shang-Chi for sure, because Furies, you can keep getting them, you can keep refreshing them and all of that, but it is slightly stressful. Realistically speaking, why will you use She-Hulk over someone like Aegon? And again, as I said before, the value of those content is just outdated. The rewards are not good enough. So anything using, like, earlier there were people who didn't have Aegon, but still doing Abyss was so big that you could consider using someone like She-Hulk, or Strife or Cable with synergies. There are people who have done clears with weird characters, but at this point, if you don't have an Aegon, you might as well not bother with Abyss. So yeah, I don't think She-Hulk being as stressful as she is in larger health pools, and she also has a high skill cap, with spacing and everything. She is a character that I have enjoyed, but at the same time, I don't think she is as useful as she used to be, and they're just better characters in my opinion. So yeah. And then with Miles, I feel like Miles, if he has the synergy with Spider-Ham, then maybe, but otherwise doing his missions, they take time damage wise. He's not the best. He does have certain scenarios where you would want to use him a lot, but I just feel that these characters overall better than Miles Morales. And yeah, and same goes for iHulk. Like, there are certain situations where you really want to have iHulk. You can cheese stuff with him. His damage can go so crazy, but at the same time, he's not a character you would want to use everywhere. In battlegrounds, he doesn't have that much value, because offensively, there are two things that matter, right? Health that you have remaining, and the time wise he can be good, but health wise he kind of kills himself. So yeah, the immortality makes it fine for questing and stuff, but not in battlegrounds. So yeah, I think overall he also has lost some value. Like OC has gained value, he has lost value with time, but he is still a very fun rank up option. I myself have him ranked up, and I do use him from time to time, and he can be a lot of fun. Now next up we have Namor. How many emojis does he have in front of him? And that is kind of the problem. He needs a lot, and even after everything, he is very niche kind of champion, good in only specific situations. Everywhere else, he was one of my first rank 3 characters, and yeah, I just never used him. There are some scenarios like Terax, Korg, all of that stuff where yeah, he'll be good. There are some nodes where he'll be good. He's a character you want to have at a high sig. But to be honest, like even if you have a rank 5 star sig 200, you should be fine. You don't need a rank 4 Namor or a rank 3 Namor. I feel like overall, other than his signature ability, he doesn't have much going for him. His damage is not bad, but it is nothing crazy either. And yeah, that is it. He does have prestige going for him. I'm not sure if he's still at the top these days. I don't think he's at the very top, but he's alright, I guess. Then we have Domino, whose value is actually increasing. I can consider her being here. I don't think offensively she is as good as these 4 characters, but because she has incredible defensive value as well, overall as a rank up, I would in certain scenarios prefer ranking up Domino over characters like Colossus or Professor X. Maybe not Omega and Bishop, because Bishop also have value on both offense and defense, and Omega Red is potentially a contender for the highest. I have seen other people, I do see other people's tier lists as well, and there are some people who have Omega in the highest tier. He is always been a character who has not been for everybody. If you don't run 2 sides, if you don't have him at a high signature level, and even if you have both of those things, he has a slower playstyle to him, so I wouldn't say it's a character for everyone. You can, like, if you take all the boxes, you have him high sig, you like his playstyle, you are running suicides, all of that going for him, then potentially this category for him. But for most people, I would say right now that there are better options, and not many. There are 4 better options in the mutant class. Now, is anyone left in this particular category? I don't think so. So we move on here. Gwenpool and Gambit. Different problems. Gwenpool, I just feel at this point is very outdated. She used to be my absolute favorite character at one point. Loved her animations, but now there are a lot of Bleeding Moon champions. That's one thing, but that is not honestly the reason she is going down in value. Even Nick Fury, his main source of damage is like those bleeds. There are a lot of characters. Mole Man, main source of damage is bleed. So immunity is not really the reason why she is down. The main reason is they're just better characters. That is honestly the main reason. Damage isn't the best, her utility isn't the best. She does some things alright, like honestly speaking, if you need defensive ability reduction, would you use Gwenpool or would you use someone like Falcon? The only pro of Gwenpool is that she does check a few boxes. She has damage over time, she can tank special attacks, she has defensive ability reduction, she has power control, she has an incinerate on the SP1, so she has an armor break on the SP3 that can be refreshed as well. She does check a few boxes. Initially, if you pull her the first 4 star 5 stars, then maybe she can be used. She definitely can be used, not maybe. But if you have all the characters in the game, then realistically Gwenpool doesn't do anything better than anyone. That's just honest truth. They're better armor break characters, they're much better power control characters, there are other characters who can tank SP3s as well. So yeah, that's how I feel about Gwenpool at this point. Then we have Gambit. Gambit as a horseman, great character, I like him. My main problem with Gambit, and this is a problem I have with a lot of characters, especially characters that have prowesses and most of the damage comes from the SP2. Even Cap, Infinity War and champions like that, who like main source of damage is a special attack, especially if there is some sort of build up associated with that special attack being like, with Cap you need 5 kinetic charges, Gambit you need your charges, then use the heavy for prowess and that kind of stuff. It's not a huge build up, during that it takes a very short amount of time, but then if that SP2 doesn't crit, that is disappointing, and that doesn't do great damage. versus if it does great, it feels very satisfying. You're happy, you're like, this character definitely deserves to be 1 or 2 tiers up. But that RNG dependence is not something I like when you have super old characters like Ghost who have guaranteed crits, and all of the CP2s are massive damage. In Gambit, he does have a few things like as a horseman, the block and stuff. He has some things going for him. But overall, again, mutant class very competitive, those mutant resources. So yeah, that's how I feel about Gambit as of now. And that is pretty much it. I have made other changes as well. A lot of characters went down because, see, initially I'm kind of seeing a lot of characters here. So one guy did say this. So if this is below average and this usable is kind of like average, it doesn't make sense that these characters are here and this many characters are here. So how is this category average? That is why I think I renamed it to usable instead of average, because honestly, yeah, mathematically it doesn't make any sense. So that's the thing. Every single character, new champion that comes up usually is either here or here. Every character that is buffed is usually here or here. That is why these are the biggest columns, but this area is very low now. And eventually, if you keep adding more and more good characters, the average is going to go up. More characters are going to go below that average. So yeah, I think in a few months I'm going to make massive changes and take down a lot of characters from these areas and put them here maybe, and these characters will go here, and I don't know what I'll do with these characters, maybe out of the list itself. I don't know. Do let me know what you think about that situation, because if you are fine with this, then all good then. But yeah, I'm kind of confused about that. So anyways, that's pretty much gonna do it for this one. I have office tomorrow, it's getting late. And yeah, if you have watched this far, then thank you and have a nice day. Like, share, subscribe, stay safe, have a good one, and bye bye.